Welcome, y'all.
Hey, Sherri.
Hey, Tammy. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Long time no see.
I know. We getting back in the swing of things.
That's
here
right.
with us.
Man, it just seems like Christmas was over and then now we're busy into Mardi Gras season. So
yeah,
we're always doing
I
something.
know. And then we had that beautiful snowfall.
Oh, it was great. It really was.
Yeah, and now it's 80 degrees.
Yes, it is.
So we're
What was
moving.
that? 2 weeks ago we had
We had snow.
9 inches of fucking snow and
Yeah, 7 degrees.
We're wearing shorts today, kind of thing.
It was the coldest it's been since I think 1895.
Wow. Fuck that global warming.
And now we're up to 80 and my vegetables are growing and everything's coming back.
Nice. Love it.
Me too. I am so glad I live in Louisiana.
So I see that you're drinking Coke Zero.
Yeah, I got a few things to do tonight. Got out of town guest, got the grandbaby coming.
Oh,
So
love it.
After here, I'm going to hit the ground running, feeding all those people.
Cool.
Mhm.
Which you're cooking a big Thanksgiving size meal.
Not that big, but
Okay.
it'll be, like steak and squash and a dessert.
Yum.
But I can sling a whole meal together in under an hour. It's not that bad.
I cannot do that.
That's why you got a Harold.
Who is camera switching for us today? Thank you, Harold. And you're going to tell me a story.
I sure am.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
All right. Hit it.
All right. So I was looking for something a little old
Okay.
because old ends up being lighter.
I agree because it's so old that,
That nobody's feelings are going to
around.
get hurt.
No.
You don't have to worry about messing up a court case by
Yes.
saying the wrong thing.
I love it.
Yeah. So I was
One of my
looking-
favorite episodes was a really old story. I love that.
Yeah. Which one?
The Villisca Axe murders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's one
Okay.
of my favorites.
So I found a YouTube channel while I was looking things up. It was called Medieval Madness.
Oh,
Okay. And I was looking up information specifically about this second guy that I'm going to talk about because I'm going to do one longer one short one.
okay.
And I kind of went down a rabbit hole on a lot of creepy subjects and some really gross things.
Oh.
And so love that YouTube channel.
Are you going to tell us all the creepy, gross things?
No, not on this, but I can tell you that's
Okay.
going to be a source for a good little while because there's
Okay.
plenty on there.
Awesome.
Okay.
Give them a shout out again. What's it called?
Medieval Madness.
All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And, also, this time, feel free to ask me questions because I didn't want to come in here and give a European history lesson. So if there's something you're not quite getting, go ahead and ask a question.
Okay.
So that'll kind of keep me on track of what do people know and not know. I'm not going to have to go into baronnesses and
Yeah.
all kind of.
Oh, yeah. We don't. Yeah.
I don't want to get
too deep.
too deep into the weeds whenever we're here to talk about the murders.
Yes.
Okay. So, Guy de Rais.
Whatever you say. God bless you.
So, if it was in English, it would be Giles de Rais.
All right.
So, Gilles,
French.
yes, very French, was born in 1405.
Damn.
Yeah, so we went into the way, way, way back machine.
That's only like 2 years before I was born. So.
Yeah, like
Scooby doodle-loo, doodle-loo.
Okay. And he died in 1440, so he was only 35 at the end of this.
Well, I mean, in the 1400s, if you live to be 35, that's probably ancient.
Could be. So, Gilles was born to two very important families. I'm not going to really get into a whole lot of, why they were important, what happened. But they were close to royalty without the same amount of inbreeding. So they had titles, they had land, but they weren't forced to marry.
Bridgerton. French Bridgerton. Yeah.
Okay. Huge amounts of land and power. Unfortunately, both of his parents were dead by the time he was about 10.
Did you say fortunately?
Unfortunately.
Oh.
I might have said fortunately.
I was like,
I'm on
dang.
caffeine, no booze, ADHD might win.
Okay.
Okay.
But I didn't know if we're supposed to be mad at his parents or something.
No.
Okay. Unfortunately.
And we know almost nothing about his mom. The weird thing is the historical record. She just isn't in it anymore.
That's because it's 1400s and she's a woman.
Yeah. And his dad's stuff, when his dad died, they took note of that.
Of
But
course.
his mom, we think, It's most likely she died when his little brother was born.
She was just there to have children.
That was her whole job.
Yes.
Bring land, have children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, although his father had appointed a friend to be the guardian, protector, defender, and administrator of his estate for the two children,
Okay.
Gil's grandfather came in.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it does make sense, especially since everybody else in the family that could have inherited his grandfather's estate died.
Yeah.
So all the other children and grandchildren died between.
He's like, I'm stepping in here. I'm the man who can run the show.
Right. And he not only had the estate that was coming from their father, but they were going to be the heirs of the grandfather's estate too.
Sure.
So instead of just managing his own and passing it off, he just took over everything.
Super rich kids.
Mm-hmm. Super rich kids, like incredibly. Okay. This kind of, the grandfather took over, and the grandfather started trying to manipulate some politically and economically advantageous marriages for the boys.
Oh. Well, that's what they did back then.
Yeah. And read that one of the engagements was to a 4-year-old girl.
What?
That one fell apart.
Thank God.
Another betrothal fell apart because the lady became a nun.
Well, that was her only way out.
So I'm going to marry you or Jesus.
Yep.
I'm taking Jesus.
All the way.
Yeah. And so he, his last betrothal, he decided not to let anything happen. And instead of waiting for all of the legal and church formalities to go through, he went and kidnapped her and married her at a chapel on his own land.
I thought you were going to say kept her chained up in the dungeon until she became a willing subject.
Might as well have. I mean, he went and took her. And she may have been okay with it, but nobody would have known. Nobody would have cared to write it down.
No.
Just not the way it would have gone. Okay, so there's a lot going on in France during this time, and this family was in the thick of it. And Gil's grandfather amassed so much land that he became wealthier than the king.
Damn.
Yeah. And we would have known about Gil without the crime. He fought with Joan of Arc.
Wow.
Okay, this is not some nobody in history.
Right.
He's not some...
He's probably like, bitch, get out the way. Let the men folk do this.
Actually, he seemed to be kind of in love with her.
But didn't she look like a guy? She disguised herself as a guy. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, hopefully when he fell in love with her, he knew who she really was.
Yeah, he knew who she was. By the time he was fighting with her, it was kind of known. And there were civil wars, and he fought in them. He helped kick the British out of the whole country. He fought in that. He was ahead of a lot of battles. He was really good at fighting like standard warfare and even guerrilla warfare. We can assume, with what we learned about him later, that he wasn't winning so much and doing so well because he was a great leader as much as he just liked the killing. Okay, so...
He was getting his jollies.
Oh, yeah. So, and he was also like, he spent tons of money. He would have stupid amounts of parties. And
I was going to say, what's he spending money on? Hookers and weed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he was your basic rich party kid.
Got it. A killer by day, a partier by night.
Yeah, he had 24 opulent homes.
Damn.
Okay,
we're getting into rapper money now.
Yeah, we are. We're getting into, this guy's kind of Epstein-ish in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
The way he moves people around, the political dealings back and forth, the big parties.
And there was no internet to track all that shit, no emails, no text messages. He's a party guy.
Yeah. And so he would, at any place he was having parties, and he would throw parties he wasn't even at. There would just be food and wine laid out for whoever showed up. It wasn't even like there was this guest list and we're serving you this small amount. It was just all about the debauchery. Eat and drink whatever you want.
Wow.
And at those 24 opulent homes, it was said that each home had a hidden pleasure dungeon.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And even before his grandfather died, he was a crazy spending party boy. So
do you think he had not a wife, but a mistress for each one of the opulent homes?
I don't think it was a mistress.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were kind of hitting the nail on the head.
Okay.
That John looked like a guy.
Oh, it was a Mr.
I think it was Misters.
Oh.
Yeah. And so his grandfather was so mad at him that when he died, he gave a sword and breastplate to the younger brother.
Oh.
He had to leave all the land and the money to him.
He took off his glove and slapped him in the face.
Pretty much what it was.
Yes.
You know.
The horror.
Handing those two things to the little brother was like,
Huge.
I'm only giving you the land and the money because I have to. He should be the heir.
He dissed him hard.
So Gil's property had a chapel. He built the chapel of the Holy Innocents on one of his properties, filled it with a choir of young boys, and he designed extravagant robes for them. And he wrote, directed, and produced plays. And when you'd come to see his play, he would also be giving you wine and food and gifts and all of that. And then I don't know if it was every night after the play, but there was brand new costumes for the next play.
Wow.
Just a stupid amount of money. And so he's beginning to get poor, and because he's just spending.
He's just pissing it away.
Literally pissing it away.
But he's got fancy costumes. Mm-hmm. That's pretty fun.
And he's got pretty robes.
Yep.
Okay. So he started selling the family's land holdings.
Oh my gosh. Did little bro put that chest plate on and go stomping in there?
His family did go try to get him interdicted. I mean, because they did it back then just like they do now. Hey, he's not competent.
So
look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
It didn't really work, but he was selling off bits of land, and that's like land equals power.
Right. But also if you're doing that and you're not curbing your spending habits, you're just going to come down to you have nothing left in the end.
And that's it. He was going to be the undoing of this very powerful family.
Poor little brother.
Yes. And I didn't really look what happened to his little brother.
Do you know about how far in age they are apart?
10 years.
Oh, okay.
Which is another reason why.
Yeah, he couldn't stop his older brother.
No. And it's another reason why historians think that mom probably died in childbirth. That she had some problems, and then that final child 10 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was older. She was probably like 28, which is way beyond when you're supposed to have a kid in the 1400s.
But if you were having problems in the in-between, and that's why you didn't have any children in between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You know, maybe some scar tissue or something.
Yeah, she could have had miscarriages. Yes. Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay. In in 1438, that's a big difference. He sent a priest and a cleric out to find alchemists and demon summoners.
The priest couldn't be like, fuck no.
I mean,
I'm a priest, dude.
Yeah, why am I going to go do this thing?
But he's at the Church of the Holy Blessed Innocents, like probably.
That he created.
The priest. Right, yeah. He's like, you're going to go find demons if I tell you to go find demons.
Probably so.
Yes.
Okay. So what he wanted was to find alchemists to turn, to get him some gold, or the demon summoners so that they could do a deal with the devil and increase his fortunes.
This is okay.
I know this seems so ridiculous, but this would have been.
It really sounds like a movie.
Entirely real to them as a real thing.
Of course.
That could happen.
I shouldn't make fun of the 1400s.
Yeah, we should. Okay. And so they tried to get the demon to turn his fortune around with the promise of cash and like an IOU. Like, demon man, you give me money and I'll give some of it back to you after I get it.
Yeah. I'm going to go pawn some stuff, including my soul. And I'll give you some of the money back.
Okay, and keep in mind, just this thought, if you had jotted down this plan on a piece of paper, forget even saying it or putting it into action, you could have been killed for heresy.
Right.
Okay, so these people are already getting off deep in the doo-doo for the time.
I like that, deep in the doo-doo.
Yeah, kind of hip deep at this point. And the IOU to a demon is not working.
He wants a fiddle of gold.
Yeah. So these, the cleric kind of says, hey, these experiments with this demon, which they named him and everything, and I'm not even going to mention the demon's name.
Okay. Is it a demon from the Bible?
No.
No, because the Bible was written way before this.
Yeah, but I imagine that the demons in the Bible are still around. But the ones that were written in the Bible were really powerful, crazy.
This is just a little puss demon?
This is just a little puss demon.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so, the cleric is like, oh, this isn't working because he needs a bigger offering.
Mm-hmm.
He needs body parts of innocent children.
As demons do.
And, I believe this was something the demon summoner was saying to kind of be the point to let him tap out. To let Gil say, no, I'm not doing that. That's too much.
Here's the line. You just crossed it, demon.
Yeah. And, Gil was like, hey, hang on a second. I know where I can get some.
Oh, fuck. I got this choir up the hill in my church.
And so, weirdly, even though he brought him a jar of kids' body parts, it didn't work. He continued to hemorrhage money. He was getting deeper and deeper into debt. He sold his wife's dowry jewelry. I mean,
he was desperate.
And all of this partying, it is very reminiscent of somebody who's got a substance use disorder right now, selling everything, whether they need it or not.
Yeah. Did his wife ever have children for him?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
I don't think so. It seems like that would have been in everything that I read, heard, and saw.
The only reason why I say that is because I feel like he would even sell his own children out at this point. I think
he would have. Okay. And he started really losing his mind, and he was attacking people that didn't really need to be attacked. He even went after an army that was superior to him in the social hierarchy, like somebody who was above him. He went and attacked those guys. There was some back and forth, and you're excommunicated, you're this or you're that, whatever. But the main thing is this put him on the church's radar.
Just now?
Yeah.
All right.
Because he did something publicly big. It wasn't on his own land. If you own a big chunk of the country, nobody sees what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
He went rogue.
So the Inquisition became aware of what's going on. And then whenever they started questioning people around him, they became aware of a lot of missing children.
This dude.
Pages, servant children, beggar kids, whatever.
Yeah.
The poor people in town would say, well, I sent my kid over there to beg for bread because he was cute and big-eyed. And
yeah.
He never came back.
I went to see if they needed the lawn mowed to get some extra money.
And then, a neighboring family would send a page with a message. There wasn't a phone. There wasn't a telegraph.
He must have got killed on the way over.
And that's what they were thinking. He was killed or kidnapped by some enemy of the family or the house that the page was coming from. So there was testimony given to the church that Gil was raping, murdering children, as well as the pacts with the demons and feeding them body parts.
So they went, in the Inquisition, went above and beyond just body parts. They told all his shit.
They told all his shit. And after the church made their report, the same witnesses came and gave testimony to secular court.
So that's religious, right?
Secular is non-religious.
Oh, non-religious.
So
okay,
it's like the regular.
You start with the religious, then you go to,
and it's kind of mixed up. The lines are blurred a little bit between.
Why do you need two? I guess is my question.
Well, Spain only had one. They just went with whatever the Inquisitor said.
Gotcha.
France kind of divided them a little bit. So you could get kicked out of the church and whatever was going on with the church.
Okay.
But you also had
criminal
penalties.
Gotcha.
So they didn't do, the church wasn't necessarily in charge.
I see.
They could lead or guide an investigation criminally, but
I understand now.
So he was prosecuted in both courts on charges that included murder, sodomy, heresy. And during the trial, we find that children would be sent on an errand of some sort to the castle or the estates. And once the child arrived, DeRay would invite them in, give them a lot of food, a lot of wine, dress them in fine clothes.
Highfalutin children.
And once the child was drunk, full, and clean, DeRay would bring them into the pleasure room, tie them up, and rape and torture them until they were dead.
Wow.
DeRay did not just begin the killing for the demons.
He didn't.
No. That's whenever he started bringing other people in on his plans.
So he was doing this before he needed to bring the demon body part.
That's why he had no problem finding body parts. He was already, this was his shtick.
Wow.
Ahead of then. So DeRay confessed on October 21st of 1440. And
October 21st?
Uh-huh.
Almost Halloween.
And he was described as ritualistically torturing dozens of kidnapped children kidnapped mostly by his servants over a period lasting a decade.
So all his people weren't involved in helping him get these children and just keeping their mouth?
Not all, but enough.
And just keeping their mouth shut about it. But servanthood... Well, you had to do it.
Servanthood wasn't like punching a clock.
Right.
You were basically owned.
Yes.
You were never leaving that land.
Yes.
That was going to be...
It was more like slavery. Yeah.
Much closer. I mean, technically you could leave. You could leave and go starve to death on the streets.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You couldn't go and buy land. You couldn't go and get a job. Maybe you could sell yourself as
You probably couldn't even get away from the house long enough to go try to report this to someone. You probably just stuck there.
And from previous things, like when we did the old Mexico thing, there weren't police forces.
Yeah.
There was no police station.
Right.
So the best you had was like city leaders and military. He was both.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy you'd report to.
Right.
So it was like your boss, your sheriff, your judge, everything. This was this one person. You don't have anybody to report to.
Wow.
For hundreds of miles.
He had the foolproof plan.
Yeah.
So this demon body part thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he really believed that?
Yes, I do.
And was there any indication in your research that giving the children's body parts to the demon was actually working in his favor?
None.
Okay. And he's just a dumbass. I mean, he did have, during the beginning of the trials, he did have his guy go out and try to get that same demon to help him out. I'm like, dude, he left you hanging already. Gosh.
His summoner was supposed to be out in a field summoning that demon the whole time while the trial was going on. Well, after the trial was over, but he didn't get tortured. DeRay did not get tortured. He confessed before torture happened. He confessed to everything.
So that was kind of like his death penalty. Don't put me on death row. I
know he knew he was going to die, but
don't put me on torture row.
It was, I can't go to hell, so I have to confess.
Oh.
And repent.
Did he bring in his priests that he confessed to, or some new ones that weren't involved with the demon?
He had to, well, I'm assuming that the Inquisitor priests were the ones he had to confess to.
Gotcha.
And one servant and one spiritual advisor also were convicted.
Okay.
Because that servant was high enough.
I mean, I'm not,
Yeah. And so
I understand the servants were in a difficult position, but I think they should have all
They should have all gone down.
Yes.
But the 2 accomplices confessed on October 23rd. And DeRay requested to die first. He said, I want to be an example to my people. And it's my fault that they did this.
Yes.
I ordered them.
Well, at least there's that.
A little integrity there.
Okay. He's trying to get to heaven at this point.
At this point. And on October 26th, after giving a speech about being repentant and telling the other 2, come to this like men, don't scream and cry and beg.
Please tell me they chopped his head off.
No, because his crimes had very specific forms of death. So he was hung.
Okay.
And burned at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, he was dead.
Okay. Double dead.
He was, yeah.
Death squared.
Weirdly, the town had to kind of celebrate him.
Because he died?
Because he repented, and that was a sign of a good Christian.
No.
And I'm thinking, this guy has done this. Dozens of children.
Yes.
There is no way that
in actuality, if they think it was dozens and he admitted it was dozens, there's probably way more.
Hundreds and
yes.
hundreds.
Yeah.
And so there's no way that the people in the town weren't directly affected by what he did.
And they had to celebrate him. Dumb rule. I don't like that.
Okay. Now, this next one was the story that I found this story while I was looking for.
Okay.
I was going to get more information on this.
Who's this one about?
This one. Okay. Christman Ginapertania.
Crispin?
Christman.
Okay.
So Christ man.
Okay.
Ginapertania.
I'm done with the last name.
You're not.
Let's just call him Chris.
You should have seen how many times I kept switching screens to type this name out. It is literally...
Girl, copy and paste.
The page I was at, it was on a YouTube thing when I first heard about him.
Okay, gotcha.
So, and they did put the name on there, and so I paused it. It's 16 letters for that last name.
Okay.
Okay.
What's his last name start with?
G.
So let's call him CG.
Okay. Okay. This guy did way more evil, but kind of for a more normal reason.
Is this the same time period?
It's 100 years later.
It's 1500s.
Yep. So now, 150 years later. Yeah, 1500s. Okay. So in 1581, the daughter of a cooper ran into the town officials of Bernkastel and said that she had been held captive for the last 7 years. Ask me what a cooper is.
I was like, what's a cooper?
I'm so glad I know this.
Tell me.
They make barrels.
Oh.
So everybody with the last name Cooper, like Taylor and
I see.
Smith and all of that.
Yeah.
The last name Cooper came from barrel makers.
Gotcha.
Okay.
That's cool.
I love that. I learned that on this one.
I like it.
Yeah.
Got to learn stuff. Keeps us young.
Yeah. It's.
I need to be learning a lot these days if I want to be kept young.
I know. Okay. So anyhow, she says she's been held captive for the last 7 years. She leads them back to this cave home that belonged to Christman.
Okay.
It was near a roads in a major highway area.
And where is this?
Okay, they call it Germany, but Germany wasn't Germany until, I don't know if it was Prussia back then.
I'm good with Germany.
But about there.
CG
Rhineland.
Okay, CG in Germany, I'm good with that. Cave home.
A cave home.
Okay.
And descriptions of the place were that the outside was a cave.
Yes.
And then when you got inside, everything about it was a normal home.
So they basically remodeled a cave.
Yeah. I'm thinking Lord of the Rings, Hobbit home.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm assuming that this cave was excavated because there were mines near it.
I'm thinking HGTV DIY. Lots of pastel, beiges and light greens and
wine cask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that it probably was like part of a mine because there were mine shafts all around his home.
All right. So kind of a creepy ass place to.
Kind of a creepy place.
But maybe didn't cost much. So.
And it would have wintered well.
Yeah, true. But the fact that you could have your kids playing nearby and step on a mine. Didn't you say, or you meant mines as in like gold mines or silver mines?
Yes,
okay.
Like mineral mine shafts.
I thought you meant like there had been land mines planted around.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so in this house they find so much stuff, like slabs of salt meat, hundreds of barrels of wine, jewelry, weapons.
He was in with the Coopers.
He had
all those barrels.
Yeah, and he had a lot of stuff. Chrisman was a very successful highwayman.
What's that?
It's like a pirate.
Oh, but except for roads?
Except for roads.
Like it.
And his home was at a crossroads that led to several large cities throughout.
So basically his front yard was where he worked?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. And according to the young woman, she had been held captive by him for 7 years.
That's a long time.
She had delivered 6 children to him.
Does he have a wife?
No.
Okay.
That's why he kidnapped her to be his.
Okay.
She is
literally having a baby and then getting pregnant and like, wow.
He killed all 6 children right after he delivered them.
What?
And some of the sources say he then ate the babies.
God. Ugh.
Yeah. So we sit there and we think that the world just got bad, that the world just got gross. We just know what's going on now.
He's a baby.
People have always been horrible.
He's a baby eater?
He's a baby eater.
Oh, sorry. I have the hiccups.
That's okay. Take another sip of whiskey.
I'm drinking Redneck Riviera.
It's either going to make the hiccups worse.
Hey, the worst thing that has happened on this podcast is that someone actually fell asleep while I was telling them a story. So hiccups are nothing.
Hiccups are nothing.
Yeah. All right. So he's eating, it's like you buy the cow and then you get the milk, and then you finally kill the cow and eat the cow. But basically, like, he got this woman and she's making food for him.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That is disgusting. And keep in mind, he doesn't need food. What he's doing as a job, there is nobody that he has robbed on that highway that didn't have provisions, because it's not like you're stopping at a Hojo's.
Right.
They are
no Red Roof Inns out there.
No.
So did he have money other than his piracy?
No, but he had tons of pirate money.
Yes. Okay.
I mean,
so he was wealthy.
He was wealthy.
Okay. Yes.
And so kind of what it looks like is that first he started robbing people for wealth. But then his goals shifted and he came up with a goal to kill 1,000 people. And he came close.
I'm not feeling the vibe from the piracy anymore. I got to go to the next level.
Yeah, I need to challenge myself.
So now not only is he stopping them and taking their shit and letting them go on their way, but now he's killing them.
He's killing them. And maybe the first killing was accidental. Maybe somebody put up a fight.
And then he got a boner.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we've seen that happen to serial killers before.
Mm-hmm.
That, they were creepy and they were doing some weird
but once
stuff.
But accidentally tasted it.
Then it was over. It was like a dog that kills a chicken. You're never going to get him out of it. So he killed, according to him, 964 people.
Probably more.
He disposed of all of the remains that he didn't eat.
I picture him making tally marks on the cave wall, and that's how he kept track.
Yeah, because I mean,
he ate them too.
That part
was he making?
Goes into the area of I'm not sure I believe that.
Oh, okay.
But
when they went into his cave after the woman found the authorities, they found big slabs of meat.
That was mostly like salt meat and stuff for traveling. Like
But, so it was meat he stole, not the humans.
Not the humans.
Okay.
Okay, and he'd throw what was left of the bodies down the cave, down the mines, all around him.
I was going to say, don't shit where you eat. Don't throw that shit in your own mine because you're going to smell that.
So from theft to murder to kidnapping to rape to cannibalism.
Yes, he had all of the things.
And he got convicted of it.
Good.
But on this guy, the wildest part of the whole story is how they killed him.
Okay.
They put him on the breaking wheel.
Ooh. Is that kind of like the stretching thing where you're just getting pulled apart?
Getting pulled apart and getting your bones actually broken over the course of hours.
He was tortured.
He was tortured.
Which sounds like he was very deserving of.
And they would patch him up a little bit. Give him food and drink at night to keep him alive and do it again the next day.
Bitches.
They kept this guy going for 9 days.
Wow. Maybe he experienced
just a little bit of the hell.
A sliver of what he put people through.
So he died June 17th, 1581.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I found a new website and I'm going to tell you about that too.
Okay. Do we know what happened to the girl? I'm sure not because she's a woman and they don't keep records. Yeah.
I'm surprised that we know
that there was even a woman.
Well,
you have to tell that part because of the baby eating.
Okay. And I need to include the caveat that some historians think this guy wasn't even real.
What?
Yeah.
So he's like a urban legend?
They think, some of them say, but this is their reasoning why. They don't have the original documents where this crime and the trial was reported in. They only have where the story got picked up by other towns in the area.
Okay. So there's probably some embellishment.
That's why I think that it's a real person and that a good chunk of this story is real, but it did get embellished a little bit. It got picked up by the wire. Yeah.
The media.
The media of the
paparazzi.
Time. And at the time, it was pamphlets.
Yes.
And
like Lady Whistledown.
Some of the pamphlets would have, pushed different elements of the story.
Of course.
Just to say the only way to know something is real is if you have the one original document on something that was 500. I'm not keeping every newspaper for 500 years. It's not happening.
Well, now that we have the internet, one day there will be 500 years worth of newspapers available.
And it'll be in a manner that's not going to make me take up a whole building just to save.
Yes. Microfiche wasn't invented back in the 50s.
Microfiche wasn't invented. And so we have pamphlets from the time
that talked about this.
And referenced the original.
All right.
Story. So I think that's close enough.
I agree for that time period.
Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty much it on old Christman.
Wow.
Yeah, that's wild. And we really do. I cannot tell you how many times a week I hear about how bad the world has gotten.
Yeah. Baby eating's pretty bad.
Pretty bad. Torturing children in a play dungeon.
Yes.
Pretty bad.
Yes.
Yes, it seems like that the guys that were born in the 40s, like, who is the clown? Gacy, stuff like that. All of these, that was a pretty horrible time for serial killers.
Yeah.
But they've obviously been around forever.
Oh, yeah. I would agree. I like that. Will you go back and find another oldie but goodie?
I will find several because, in fact, I think I'm going to do one on just some really gross crap.
Yes.
Not so much crime.
I need some gross.
Yeah, just funny gross.
Yes.
I mean, okay, you know how we say blow smoke up your butt?
Yeah.
Do you want to know where that came from?
Was somebody actually blowing smoke up butts?
That used to be a cure for drowning.
For what?
Drowning.
Did you say drowning?
Yes.
So you get out of the river and you're
out of
dead,
the water
and
you blow smoke in a pipe up their butt.
That was the came cure back to life?
For drowning. I don't think it ever happened. I think that's why we talk about it as...
You're just blowing smoke up my ass.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like that was a real
Okay, I like
thing.
that. Yeah.
So
All right.
something in that range
Yes.
where weird stuff, off the wall stuff.
Yeah. And if you come across any ghost stuff from that old time period,
there's a lot.
Okay. I like that too. Spooky deaky time. Yes.
Yeah. So
that was awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. I did want to talk about my sources a little bit, that
please.
medieval madness. And then I went to Wikipedia, Wikidot, but I found a new website called executedtoday.com.
I'm definitely going to have to check that out.
You go through and you find out who got
executed on what day.
You type in like,
how far back historically does it go?
Well, these were both in there.
Oh, wow. So, somebody spent a lot of time on that website.
Yes, they did. And I appreciate every moment of that.
Oh my gosh. What's it called again?
executedtoday.com.
Wow. I need to put that in the show notes. executedtoday.com. Because I think a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, I got to go home and put my birthday in it and my anniversary and all my kids' birthdays and see
who died.
Who got killed.
Oh my God. Who was probably all of the things: hung, electrocuted,
burned at the stake.
Yes.
Drawn and quartered. And here's the thing though, you know, for birthdays, it's there's kind of a mysticism around a soul leaving and a soul coming in. So
this might be who you were channeling. No,
this might be who I was replacing to balance things out.
Okay, yes, I like that better.
Yeah.
Then that piece of that person got inside the.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Because it's probably not a murder in me.
Oh, I mean, I don't think
I could.
Ooh.
if I had to. Like,
speaking of murderers.
Okay.
I just want to say that I've watched a couple of shows recently. I'm sure y'all have already seen them. But on Netflix, there's a O.J. Simpson documentary, which I found very fascinating because, I mean, we know about the crime, but it really went deeper into the evidence and how the evidence.
And how a case that was so easy to solve.
It seemed that way. Yeah. So y'all check that out. I feel like there was another show I watched. Oh, I did watch, I think, the P. Diddy on Max. So
tell me, because you know I'm all off into that crap.
Okay, so here's the thing: like the first couple episodes, I felt like they were just kind of pumping him up to bring the downfall. Yeah, you gotta be vested in watching it,
and I've heard that about that.
If you want to get to what I consider the real story,
that might be my Monday night watch this week.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And as a matter of fact...
Did you think about me while you were watching it?
I did. And the very last episode, I'm not going to use dates because, you know, someone may be listening to this 5 years from now, but the very last episode that they showed was recorded maybe 4 weeks ago at the most.
Oh, great.
So it's very...
Very current.
Very current, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there's no resolution because the story hasn't ended.
Yeah, we don't even know, other than like the baby oil, what all they pulled out of his house.
They talked about the baby oil and that. I mean, like
they gave us just enough for us to know that they, like in the news releases.
Yeah, well, I don't know that this is going to be any more revealing.
I don't think I don't think it is yet. I think that's going to wait. Whenever you have a federal case.
Yeah,
they play that tight.
To me, it speaks volumes that he is still in jail. Yes, I know he could be a flight risk or whatever, but he's also internationally known and he could be recognized wherever he went. So that to me speaks volumes that he doesn't have bail, you know, or any kind of.
Well, just the fact that the feds took him down to begin with.
Yeah,
it's
true.
Kind of a known thing.
True.
In general, prosecutors don't do an arrest warrant unless they already think they could get a conviction.
Right.
When it comes to a federal prosecutor, they don't move an inch until you are
100% guilty.
Yeah. Till they know they're going to lock you down.
All right. So, y'all let me know what you think. I was thinking about having an episode where we have a few people who have expressed an interest to come and talk about the Menendez brothers.
I want to see other people's take on it.
Yeah, y'all shoot me a message, and you can go to www.GritsWithASideOfMurder.com, and there's a contact, area on the webpage. We also have been doing some updates on the website, so go check it out.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go see.
Yeah. Also, y'all know we're on YouTube. We're on. Are we on Twitter? I'm not sure.
Okay, officially yes, but I don't think anybody has posted anything.
Activity.
In like
okay,
years.
scratch that. I want to.
Insta.
Yes, TikTok. I want to get more on Facebook. We talked about this in a more recent episode. But if you are on Facebook, we have 2 pages there. We have a page, Grits with a Side of Murder, which you can follow. We also have a private group, Grits Group, Family, Friends, and Fans, the Effers. And you can go there and you can actually interact. You can join that. And
I don't think I have denied more than 1 or 2 people on the...
Well, though, we put those questions on there to keep the robots out.
Right. And I have found a couple of people that were bots that made it through it or scammers that made it through it.
Yeah.
And I canceled them. And there's going to be very little you could say or talk about that I'm going to cancel out on you.
Oh, yeah. We're wide open there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people...
I want you to be you.
Yes. Oh, and another Patreon, Robin. Thank you so much. Robin, thank you. You know who you are. I know who you are. I appreciate you for becoming a Patreon member again.
Yay,
and
Robin.
Yes, we are, we're just always so happy for people to come and support the show. And if you'd like to do that, go to Patreon/grits. That's Patreon/grits. You're definitely going to get your early releases every week. I've been trying really hard to be on top of that. I do need to record some bonus episodes.
Just let me know.
We definitely need to do that. I need to get back on track with that. So
yeah,
we appreciate y'all. Anything else?
That'll be all.
We love y'all. Tell your mom and them to listen, and we're going to let Zydeco Mike take us out.